Fridaysews. A big thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for creating the hashtag Fridaysews so that all sewists can see each other's work for the weeks and have a little bit of chat about life. My name's Deb and this is my channel DB Designs and Sewing Australia. The first thing I made was the Groovy skirt by Lise Tailor. And this is also in a Lise Tailor Gaberdine, which has a slight stretch in it. I will insert photos and it's actually turned out really lovely. I particularly love the way the pockets come up and create these belt loops here. And in the photos, I've got it on with a red belt. So really happy with this, but it is very short. I don't really think it was probably designed for old women in their 60s, but I do like a denim skirt. So, and that's the style it is. It's an A-line skirt with a different types of pocketing. There are two styles of pockets you can choose. You can see the top one is your regular style denim skirt style pocket, and I chose the one with the patch pockets because I wanted it to have that top section with that created the belt loops. So very easy fabric to sew, and it has got a slight stretch, so it's got a bit of stretch to it, but not particularly thick or heavy because the pockets are, double their own fabric. And I chose to do the gabardine on the inside of the pocket as well. And the pattern instructions did say if you're using a very heavy fabric, to use a lighter weight fabric for your lining of your pocket. So I'm thinking in the case of if you were using like a heavy corduroy, you would want to do a different lining for your pocket because that would just be far too bulky. But the gabardine was fine and it sewed up really well. So has just a couple of belt loops on the back. So it's got two darts in the back. Very nice sew, very comfortable skirt because it's got that slight stretch in it. So I also made a t-shirt to go with it. So this is what I had envisaged. A navy and white striped t-shirt with the navy skirt and a red belt. Because I have had this red belt for a while, but I really haven't been able to wear it. Oh, it's a Basque belt, so it means it's from Maya. I just really like the colour red it is. It's really quite a dark red, not a letterbox red. And I made this t-shirt, and this is a t-shirt that I often make because I like it. It's got a slightly longer sleeve, and that's my preference. If you've seen the tops of my arms, you'd know why. So it's a new look 6481, and I've actually made all of those. Oh, I haven't made the pants, but I've made the skirt and I've made the jacket and I've made the t-shirt several times. I've got the skirt and the jacket in a houndstooth that I team with a black t-shirt underneath it. Something I often refer to as my funeral outfit because that's what I wear to funerals. But really happy with this t-shirt. Turned out really nice. Managed to do great stripe matching. Of course, you can't match the stripes on the sleeves because you're slightly stretching things and so they don't always line up. But really happy overall with how this t-shirt turned out. That's a tried and true pattern for me, and I know it's always going to work and always going to fit perfectly. It's not a t-shirt that has darts in it. It doesn't have any darts, but some t-shirts do have darts in it. And what I did forget to tell you about the skirt is because it was so short when I tried it on, I ended up putting some bias binding that I'd made out of a fat quarter and as the hem, because I didn't really want to make it any shorter, and that way I could use a very scant amount of fabric at the hem to stitch this to and still have a decent size hem. So I got around the fact that it's really quite short for me. for an old girl. And next time I make it, and I think I probably will make it again. I really like this gabardine. Next time I make it, I will make it a little bit longer. Not too much longer, but just a little bit longer when I see my hideous legs. Probably the fact that it's been winter in Australia, and so, you know, you don't have any sort of a tan and your legs are actually glowing in the dark. They're so white. But which means that it only calls for 1 metre of fabric, but it actually uses the whole metre of fabric to make this skirt. So when I make it again, and I wanted to buy some more gabardine, most probably, I will buy a little bit more than 1 metre, just so that it's, just so that I've got plenty of fabric. As I'm really trying to be quite mindful about the fabric that I buy and buying only just the right amount. If it says 2.6 meters, if I've already got the pattern, I will measure it out, but I bought that pattern from Kristen at the Tailor Society and the fabric at the same time. And so that's why I bought the exactly 1 meter, and it did fit on it. So it did fit onto the fabric fine, but now I've got the pattern, I can actually measure out what it will be. And I didn't cut into my pattern, I actually made my own pattern pieces. So traced it off because I thought it would be quite a popular pattern with my daughters as well. Oh, and FYI, today I'm wearing my Be Mine balloon sleeve top by Pattern Emporium. It's a very comfortable top, very comfortable. And it's been quite warm here in Melbourne, but today I think it's going to be 21, and tomorrow it's going to rain. We're going to Barwon Heads for Phoebe's birthday tomorrow, so of course it's going to be raining. Why else would you go to the beach unless it was going to rain? So although the weather has been good, it's on a bit of a downturn now. So this length sleeve, excellent. And I was actually looking through my drawer thinking I need to find a nude coloured singlet to wear under this. And then I found that I actually had a blue coloured singlet, so I could wear that under it. So how good was that? It's a perfect match. So really, really happy with this top. Very, very comfortable. Now, the other thing I made this week was the Sewing Revival Flounce top. Now, the colour of my fabric is exactly the same as the model on the front cover. Now, I think it was earlier this year I made a top with the long sleeves in the reversible gingham. So part of it was larger check, and then the other side of the fabric was smaller check. And I actually did the flounce part on the neck in the smaller check, and I did a rolled hem on it. And this time, because I was using linen, I decided I would just do a zigzag on the edge of the flounce, which is not like me because I know what's going to happen. It's going to start to fray a little bit. It is zigzagged around there, but it will start to fray and have little edges coming off when I wash it. And so when I iron it, I'll have to trim it. That's just me. Now, because the gingham was a much lighter weight fabric than the linen, the flounce is very sticking out on this, very sticking out. And after I'd made it, I thought, oh, maybe I should just have put 1 flounce on it, not 2. But I sort of pressed it down a little bit, and when I put it on, I thought, oh, actually it looks okay. So another really comfortable top. And I didn't do the sleeves the way they wanted you to do it. I just put some bands on it and gathered it into it. So just to make a simple top and to use up that piece of linen that I had. That's not enough linen to make a dress. I've actually got a jacket in this fabric and I've got a pair of linen pants that have got a pattern on them that are in this colour as well. So that'll be a really good thing to wear in the summertime. Now, the other thing I made, well, I actually made it last week, and then Hannah took it home with her when she was here last weekend. And that was a toy box for one of her friends who's having a baby, and a cushion, because they all have those nursing or breastfeeding rocking chairs that they've all got. Couldn't just sit on a lounge chair like we did. And so these people have got a red setter and so that's the fabric that I used for the toy box. I will insert photos of it because she took some photos of it for me. And I actually get this fabric printed at Spoonflower, so it takes a fair while to come. And so I made a soft toy box, because I always think when your babies are quite little, you don't want a hard toy box when they've just learned to sit up, because they will tip over, and you don't want them to bang their head on a toy box that might be close to them if they're learning to reach and find things inside something. And you can also, because it's soft, you can also turn down the edges to make it much shallower so they can choose things out of there themselves. I've just found it to be very, very handy. Now, Mia's got one, but they've got a dog that's a Wyarama, and I'm probably saying that wrong. I know I say it wrong. Hannah tells me all the time I say it incorrectly. And so I'd made one for her, and so when her friends are having babies and they've got dogs that were originally their babies, she asked me to make them a toy box and a cushion for her chair. So I just make a cushion with a cushion cover with a zip in it, and I get an insert and pop that into it, and then they put that on their feeding chair in the baby's room. So I made those. I will insert photos because I don't have them with me. And the other thing I've been making, which is a bit weird, is this is a bag to go under Dad's walker. So a walker with a lift-up seat that old or disabled people have. And my sister asked me if I could make him a soft one, so that when it's got nothing in it and you want to fold that walker up and put it in the car, this can just all fold up inside it. Now, it's got quite a firm base on it, and this is all I've got left of this very, very heavy interfacing. So this interfacing is very, very heavy. It's used in bag making, and I also use that on the soft toy box. So the toy box does stand up by itself, and I think I also use it inside the Santa sacks, so that the Santa sack stands up by itself also. So I've only put this in the bottom of it. You can see that the bottom's hard and the sides are not. And I've just didn't have any Velcro that wasn't adhesive. And I really don't like adhesive Velcro because the glue gets stuck to your sewing machine needle. So I much prefer straight sew-on Velcro. So I'm going to make him Velcro tabs so he can Velcro that around his walker. Now, I'm not sure if it's deep enough. I'll try this one as a tester on his walker, because I was actually thinking it would probably be much nicer if I made it as deep as that could be, and to also put a lid on it with a zip that sort of curved around like that, and then have two zip pulls so you pull either side. I thought that might be a good idea, but I'll try this for size and see what it's like, and then make him another one. But I will have to get some more of this heavy, heavy duty interfacing to put in it. As you can see, I've been putting all of my interfacings onto rolls, and I'm going to put them in what is actually, well, when I used to use it at one of my old jobs to cart things around the factory or pick up orders out of the factory, people called it my nana trolley. but it's just a trolley that's on wheels, and it's about that tall. So it's a metal basket on wheels basically. And so I thought that will actually be really good to store all of my stand-up rolls in. That's all I've been making this week. Oh, I did make one part of my outfit for Frocktails. I think it's my outfit for Frocktails. I have got a few weeks left, so things could change between now and then, but I won't show you that yet. And I have cut out a dress in this fabric. If you remember, this fabric was called, I think it was called Midday Mimosa. And so what I was actually looking for was a bit of a shift dress. So I think I found the right pattern, even though it is one of the big four. This is the pattern I chose, and it's a McCall's, oh my goodness, 8053. And I was going to make this dress here, except I'm making it with the bust dart. So you can either have bust darts or no bust darts. But when it comes to cutting out the pieces, and it tells you what pieces you need, it tells me for all the dress views, piece number 1 is a front, piece number 2 is a front, piece number 3 is a back, piece number 4 is a front facing, piece number 5 is a front facing. Now, never does it differentiate and say if you're using the dart. So when I looked at the pattern pieces, I could easily see that piece number 2 was the front that had the dart in it. And so I thought, oh, well, it's the second piece, so it's going to be not piece number 4, which is your first front facing on the list, but piece number 5, which is your second front facing on the list, because that would make sense. And in fact, that is the case, but nowhere does it say, you know, that is for the piece if you're using the front dart. Why couldn't they say front dart, front with dart, front facing with dart? It just seems bizarre. If you did not know how to sew properly and you hadn't used lots of patterns, you would have no idea what you were doing, and you could really easily have cut out the incorrect facing. Harder to cut out the incorrect front because you can see the dart on the front, but you can't see the dart on the facing. I just thought that was not very good. McCall's need to tell people which pieces that they're supposed to be using, because it's, I don't know, as I said, if you hadn't been sewing very much, you would not necessarily know that, and you shouldn't have to try the pattern pieces against each other to see. But anyway, we shall see how that works out, and I should have that finished by next week. I have made a few other purchases, but you know, that's me. So I've got this fabric, and I could do a fern bird in it, or I could do Summer in New York by Seasons of East in it. I could do the Flounce dress in it. Remembering what that dress looks like. It's like that. Seasons of East. Well, it's not that long since I've made that one. Just haven't really decided. Hence why I haven't cut it out. Because I do like to go on a bit of a cutting spree. So, not sure yet. Not sure what I'm going to make with this fabric. And to be honest, I don't know how much linen's in this because it's not creased. I've washed it and I've ironed it. And I've sort of screwed it up. And it still doesn't have any creases in it. So, or should I make a pixie dress with it? I do quite like the pixie dress, although I think the one I've got is in a green already. I don't know why everything I've got's green. So I've got this art gallery fabric. There it is there. And and it's a rayon, and it's not a really thick and heavy rayon. It's quite a thin rayon, you know, a bit silkier than the rayons or viscose that come from Atelier Jupe, because I think that's what I've been using a lot lately. Yeah, I think Atelier Jupe. So this is 100% rayon. Okotex. Now I had to buy a whole bulk because I really wanted this fabric and I could not get it anywhere. And so I had to get an importer to import it for me. So I don't want to make the pixie dress in this because I've already got a green pixie dress. So I'm just trying to decide which dress I'll make out of which fabric at the moment. So if you've got any ideas and what would be a really nice dress in this, now we'll show you the drape because that's sort of fairly important. So as you can see, it's got quite a bit of drape, but you know, it's quite a fine fabric. It's not got really any weight to it whatsoever. So it's what I've started to call a thin rayon. So what will I, and I think it's directional. Is it directional? It is. Yes, all of that pattern all goes in the same direction. So it's directional, but that's okay. I've got 10 meters on a bolt, so was really, really hard to get. I couldn't even get it from the UK, so I had to get someone to import it for me. So now I've got 10 meters, thinking of something to do with it. I absolutely love the fabric. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm wondering if I should make a fern bird in this, because it's got that magenta color in it, and if you wanted to make different color frills, you could always make them in the magenta color or in that buttercup yellow or even in that plain dark green. It's got a lot of colors in it. So orange, not really an orange person. So if you can think of a dress that would be really nice in this, obviously it's going to be a very lightweight summery dress, but if you can think of something, let me know. And should I be making, maybe that's what it is, maybe I should be making the fern bird in this, and I should be making another Seasons of East in this, because Seasons of East will lend itself to a heavier fabric. I really like the look of Gabrielle from the Cloth Edit, hers in a linen, which was slightly heavier than other fabric. And the one that Adele had made, which was the Ladies in the Lake fabric, it was actually the Chloe Chambray Ladies of the Lake, which means it's slightly heavier than just a rayon or a viscose. So wondering if I should do a Seasons of the East in this, Fern Bird in this. So many dresses. I have to find somewhere to wear them to. Let me know what you think. What's your opinion? Because remember last week I had I want to call it the Innes dress, but I think it's just INES, is not Innes, it's Inns dress. And I asked, should I be lifting up that waist higher? It's sort of a bit of a retro dress in a ponte. And consensus was, no, it's supposed to be slightly dropped waist and it looks really good like that. So I'm leaving it as a slightly dropped waist. Be interesting to see when because I think I made the 14 and I need to size down to the 10, because that's how I literally took huge amounts off the sides. So of course, by sizing down to the 10, it is going to lift it up at the shoulders a bit, so it'll be interesting to see where the waist goes to then. But I don't think it will be on my waist. I think it is a slightly dropped waist, which was fine. Very comfortable, great work dress, if you're allowed to wear your own clothes to work, of course. But very, very nice dress. So consensus was, and I really appreciate everybody's opinion, was that it's supposed to be drop waist and it looks fine like that. And I didn't need to take up the waist of it. But that was a very, very nice dress. And I must say that Ponte sewed beautifully. Sometimes your cover stitch machine can be a little bit, that's just people mowing their lawns, you can hear that. Sometimes your cover stitch machine can be a little bit troublesome, putting it mildly. Although I have found the answer is, I think I backed off the tension on the very left needle and always use good thread in it. Never use overlocking thread in it. I only use Gutermann thread in it. So that's how I've come to terms with that, and just do a test piece first. Make sure it's going to work properly. Make sure I know it's threaded properly. I don't know always if it knows it's threaded properly, but that's all I've got this week. So I need to get on and finish Dad's bag so that he can put that on his walker. It's Phoebe's birthday today, so happy birthday, Phoebe. And I'm going to see her tomorrow. On Monday or Tuesday, I should be receiving my bespoke box from the Tailor Society. And that'll be a very interesting one. I have no idea what to expect. It's not Halloween themed, but it's erring on that side. She called it something. Can't remember what Kristen called it, but I will be coming to you with what's in that bespoke box. Quite excited to see it, really. Yeah, so that's all from me today. Everybody have a fabulous week. Do lots of sewing. Get lots of sewing done. And I'll talk to you all when I get my bespoke box. Bye.